Good day, class. Welcome back. Our topic is deviance, more like an opposite of what we did the last time, conformity. And it's one of the most fascinating topics in sociology because it affects everyone, from the street of Lagos to the city of London, from our local neighborhood in Nigeria to Hollywood celebrities in America. So deviance is any behavior that goes against the accepted norms and rules of society. For example, in Nigeria, if someone refuses to stand up for the national anthem during a public event, people may see it as disrespectful or even deviant, even though there is no strict law, forcing it. It's just an expected norm. Or in the US, smoking weed might be legal in some states but still seen as deviant in certain religious or conservative community. So, is deviance always bad? No, it's relative. It depends on the society, the group, time, and the place. For example, Martin Luther King Jr. was once called a deviant because he broke segregation laws, but today he is celebrated globally. So my name is Adefemi and I am your lecturer for today. And we are in lecture 7, unit 2, still in module 2. At the end of this unit, you should be able to define deviance, have a different look about deviance, and have a clear understanding of perspectives on deviance. So let's go further. I would like to break down the definition of deviance. It's behavior that violates important norms of society, and it must occur frequently. Once may be overlooked, but repeated acts get attention. The rules violated must be important, not just wearing jeans in class, but cheating in an exam. The seriousness depends on how much it threatens the group. For example, think of corruption in Nigeria. Some may say na normal thing, but society sees it as serious deviance because it threatens national growth and development. Abortion case study. In Nigeria, abortion is illegal in most cases and seen as immoral by many. In some Western countries, it's legal and not seen as deviant. This shows how deviance is relative. So that's it. Now, perspective on deviance. There are four major perspectives of deviance, and this may help us understand why people go against the rule. We have biological, individual, and psychological perspective. Biological theory. Early scientists like Lombroso believe criminals have certain physical features. We now know that that is outdated, but it started the conversation. Then genetic explanation. Some study link aggressive behavior to certain genes like the XYY chromosome. Psychological angle. People with poor self-esteem or anger issue might act out. Some might bottle things up until they explode, like the man who suddenly stabbed a neighbor after years of quiet anger. So example, you hear of someone who suddenly killed his entire family. Neighbor says, but he was always quiet. That could be a psychological issue, not just criminality. Then we have social perspective. This says our environment and social group shape deviance. Different association theory. You learn to be deviant by association with deviant people. For example, we have some activists in Nigeria who outrightly practice deviance a lot in the name of activism, you know. An example again, a boy growing up in Ajigmule whose friends are into Yahoo Yahoo internet fraud might join them, not because he's bad, but because that is all he sees around him. Subcultural theory, you know, deviant groups from within society. Think of cult groups in Nigerian university. There are subcultures with their own rules and value. Deviant attachments. We are still under the social perspective. Deviant attachment. Gangs or cult provide support, identity, and belonging, especially for youth lacking family structure or guidance. For example, in the US, many teenagers join street gangs because they don't feel valued at home or school. So, number three perspective is labeling perspective. This is powerful and deep. The moment someone calls you a criminal or a shower, it sticks. You may not be doing the act, but because people believe you are, you might end up doing it. For example, a girl is caught once with a phone she didn't steal, but because our school labeled her a thief, she starts actually stealing. That's secondary deviance. Labeling can destroy lives, especially when done by teachers, parents, or police. So it's important we are careful because before we call people all manner of name, before we label them what they are not, because it goes a long way to shape their future or their destiny, whichever way you want to take it or put it. Then number four, we have social control perspective. Let's flip the questions. Why do most of us obey the rules? Because of conscience, internal control. You feel guilty when you do wrong, right? E.g., you see 5,000 naira fall from someone's bag in a bus. You pick it up but can't, sleep at night. That is conscience at play. Attachment, external control. You have something to lose. Job, family, friends. E.g., a father may stop drinking excessively because he fears losing his wife and kids. You know, direct control, police, laws, and CCTV. Indirect control, loss of job, respect, and reputation. You know, so example, you may not like all school rules, but you obey because you want that degree. You don't want to be, expelled, right? In conclusion, to wrap it up, deviance is not always bad. It can lead to social change. It is relative. What is deviant in Lagos might not be deviant in London or the US or in South Africa. Understanding deviance helps us build a more inclusive, fair, and safe society. In summary, we discussed definition and nature of deviance. Then we look at the perspectives of deviance such as biological, psychological, social, labeling, social control. Then we look at how society defines what is deviant. And finally, we also look at why most people conform, why others deviate. So, an assignment for us. We can drop the response in the comment section. Explain the concept of deviance in your own words using Nigerian example. Number 2, state and explain the four perspectives of deviance. Give real life or current event examples to support each. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me by sending it a message on the comment section. Next class we will talk about social change and social movement. Thank you, class. Have a good day.